Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to another weather forecast here by Adrian's Weather Forecast. This will be another huge update on this potential for another historic and possibly huge tornado outbreak to come later this early next week into Sunday, and then a little bit later into Monday. This is, again, a huge risk, just like the Easter one. We have up to a level 3 enhanced risk, and there's a very high risk. We can get up to a moderate risk by later today, if not later into tomorrow on the day 2 outlook. So again, we have huge updates on the radar. We're going to be looking at the amount of energy with the Cape values. I want to continue to look at the detailed radars, National Weather Service, SPC Outlook, and all of that to see the timing and exactly how severe the severe weather will be. Be sure to subscribe, though, if you are new to the channel. We've been getting a ton of support. We've been getting almost around 10 subscribers each day, which means a lot to me, guys. I want to thank you guys so much. We are just really getting a ton of support, and it means a lot, and let's try to get more support by you sharing the channel to any friends or family. Especially, you might want to share this to anybody that lives in the southeast, because if they didn't get enough information with the last outbreak, this could be the time for them to get early information so they can get prepared. So again, be sure to share the channel, because this could also become possibly a second Easter outbreak. We have perfect ingredients. We have moisture coming from the Gulf. We have wind shear. We have daylight. We have overday heating. We have a very strong surface low pressure system. We have all of this in one little region. That's going to cause a huge severe weather outbreak that I even thought was going to happen within a couple days ago, before we even people even started talking about it. So again, definitely something we need to worry about, and let's get into the video. So now we're going to be looking at the National Weather Service right now. We're not going to be focusing on Winter Storm Sadie at all today. It's mostly over. Just going to bring some scattered snowfall in the northeast. And I just thought this severe weather outbreak is going to be a lot more not only important but also dangerous than the Winter Storm Sadie. So again, we actually just have some flood warnings and flood advisories that I wanted to look at, because again, this is already saturated, this soil, and with this extremely heavy rain, and most of these areas that are in the Mississippi River Valley are under a level 3. And again, we have the exact same areas. We have Philadelphia, Meridian, Jackson, maybe even Yazoo City could be added to this level 3, and these all areas saw major tornadoes like Meridian, Yazoo City, Laurel also saw a huge tornado, and also Hattiesburg. You guys did see some really strong tornadoes almost a week ago, and this could be almost the same thing. Look, severe storms likely, damaging winds up to 70-mile-per-hour winds, a few tornadoes possible, large hail up to tennis ball size. So that is a huge risk, guys. And look, we're going to be seeing all these areas, again, the flood warnings in the Mississippi River that are going to be getting even more rain. That's also going to cause that threat, not only for tornadoes and also that, but also flooding. Same thing here, Baton Rouge, New Orleans, out there into southern Louisiana. You guys all have flood warnings as well. Now we're going to be looking at the SPC Day 3 severe weather outlook again. Now we have up to this is our area of focus right here. This is where we have the watch out for this extremely severe weather event, all the way from Texas to South Carolina. So a lot more people are actually in this enhanced risk. Again, it's going to be more like a southern event. So it's going to be including out southern Georgia, southern Alabama, southern Mississippi, southern, even all the way northern Florida. It's not going to be including northern Mississippi or northern Alabama or northern Georgia, even not even southern Arkansas will be seeing extremely, again, in these areas that saw the extremely strong severe weather last week are under a moderate and a slight chance. And of course, some are under enhanced risk, but for those other areas right here, you guys are actually at a lower risk. You guys at level 1 to a 2. But again, you guys learned that if you're in a marginal, you can still see some really strong tornadoes. And again, this slight chance could actually move a bit more northward. So could the enhanced risk. And then that's where we'll have this moderate risk possibly be issued. I think we have a moderate risk being issued. I think it would have to be right here. I think this is where we'll possibly see a moderate be issued. But again, for a marginal risk, we have around 11 million people. That's going to be for Jacksonville, Huntsville, Gainesville, Columbia, and Wilmington. So all the way from really the Wilmington up to the Houston area, guys, we are seeing a marginal risk, which is actually quite a long system, as into a lot of people widespread in this potential threat for severe weather, from whether it's level 1 or level 3. A slight chance is now for around 16.5 million people. Again, Houston, of course, or sorry, I meant to say that Corpus Christi, not Houston. Houston, of course, again, under that slight chance. That's going to be for Houston, New Orleans, Atlanta, Georgia, Birmingham, and Shreveport. So, again, Atlanta, you guys were actually in a level 4 last time, but now you guys are in a level 2. Birmingham, level 2. Out there into New Orleans, level 2. You got New Orleans, you're actually like right on the border with an enhanced risk. So very soon you'll be added to an enhanced risk in no time. So again, even if you're in level 2, you're still in a decent chance for some very strong severe weather and potential tornadoes. And you saw with a slight chance that it set up to possibly 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. And then for this biggest severe weather threat as of right now, this is where we have our highest risk and our biggest chance for extremely big severe weather outbreak and tornado outbreak. That is for the enhanced risk for 10 million people. That's for Baton Rouge, Montgomery, Mobile, Columbus, Georgia, and Jackson, Mississippi, also including Savannah, Georgia, as well, and of course, Macon, Georgia. Again, we still have that 30% chance for severe weather in general, which again possibly does mean up to an enhanced to a moderate risk. So there's still a decent chance for having a moderate risk be added. I think it's a very good chance that we can have a moderate be issued by tomorrow. So again, this is really early Sunday morning. We're starting to see that severe weather ramp up. Again, seeing just really scattered thunderstorms across that light green and moderate green. Again, it's going to be stretching across the southeast all the way into the potential Ozarks. We'll be seeing these scattered thunderstorms. But right just below this low pressure system again by Sunday morning, seeing these very strong bands developing. Going to be more for now. What we saw the Easter outbreak developing near Tyler and also Shreveport. That's possibly we'll have our first big risk for Sunday. Later into now Monday morning, look at this extremely strong band right here. It's now strengthened its low pressure system to 1,000 millibars. That's dropped 3 millibars by Monday morning. And look at this extremely strong bands now moving to western Georgia, north central Georgia, much of central Alabama, going all the way up into the Jackson area and Monroe area. So again, it looks like Monday as well is a huge threat for severe weather, not just Sunday. And then by later into Monday in the afternoon hours, continue to see this low pressure system strengthening right over these bands, which has a big potential for bringing tornadoes for South Carolina and Georgia as we get into the evening hours. Again, seeing this very strong bands moving to North Carolina. That's going to be also moving to the Barrier Islands. Also going to be, again, bringing that severe weather all the way from Mississippi to North Carolina. Again, huge widespread risk for severe weather. As you can tell, it's kind of like not moving like this, like last time. It's actually not moving more like straight. Again, that low pressure system there. Here we have all this moisture spilling up here. We're going to be seeing the wind shear coming from the western winds. And then also, again, from the southerly winds. That's going to cause a lot of wind shear, which also is going to cause that bigger threat and bigger chance for a tornado. By later into Monday night, again, continue to see that really scatter very strong bands into South Carolina, southern North Carolina, as well as the eastern North Carolina area as well. And then by Tuesday, we can possibly see up to a marginal risk into Florida. Seeing those scattered thunderstorms could be quite heavy at times, but not necessarily really severe. Now we look into Monday. Again, very strong bands. Here we have that low pressure system at 1,002 millibars. Again, here we have these southerly winds moving out here towards the Gulf. And then we have that jet stream that's going to bring these westerly winds. Again, ton of wind shear in these areas. Again, we're going to be seeing a very big warm up. That's going to cause a lot overday heating, and very strong bands will be developing, of course, into eastern Texas and even central Texas. And then see that little big band of severe weather again developing now towards Alabama and Mississippi into Sunday. Later into Sunday now, here we see the severe weather starting to get a bit worse, seeing that widespread from Florida, Tennessee, Arkansas. Again, the worst of it looks to be right here in Mississippi and also Louisiana. Again, very big threat for near the Big Bend area and the western panhandle of Florida. Again, that's where we have up to an enhanced risk. And then by later into Monday morning, here we have it dropping now 5 millibars to 998 millibars. Again, starting to see these scattered thunderstorms that push a lot more now closer to the mid-Atlantic. Very strong scattered thunderstorms that could possibly have multiple cells. Again, out here scattered. So it's going to be very scattered, so that's why it's such a big widespread risk for the severe weather. That's why we have so many people under that slight chance with 10 million people. Now it drops another 4 millibars at 994 millibars. and this is continuing to strengthen. And actually, again, we still have all this moisture that's going to bring these bands all the way up into Virginia, still into the western panhandle. This is where, again, have a very big risk. We're seeing some tornadoes near Pensacola, very big tornado threat near Mobile. Again, very strong bands, multiple, that will be moving to the metro Atlanta area, moving to the Appalachians. And then we have those first bands that we saw on Sunday that will bring in a very big flooding threat and minor severe weather threat out there into the Midwest, in the Mid-Atlantic, sorry. And then again, drops by later Monday at night, 992 millibars, dropping another 2. Most of the severe weather will be moving out into the Atlantic, but seeing some scattered areas in Virginia, North Carolina, that could be seeing some very strong bands, as well as, again, the Big Bend area, and then that'll be moving out into, of course, Tallahassee and Gainesville, and then again, it should be out, but it drops to 10 millibars, and then it drops 982, and then it drops to 975. So again, potential chance for a bomb cyclone moving to Nova Scotia. Now we're going to be looking out here into the precipitation out here for the Caller DuPage. I guess it's really showing a ton of energy developing here by Saturday. Saturday night, looks like we possibly have the severe weather risk actually starting all the way to Saturday night, seeing a huge risk for overnight tornadoes developing out here into the border with Texas and Louisiana, which is not what we want with overnight tornadoes. And then by later into Saturday, again, continue to see very strong bands out here into Mississippi, Louisiana, and then that should move out. And then, of course, the Sunday threat. Here we have this Sunday, very strong bands developing now right over Louisiana to New Orleans, Baton Rouge. That's where you have, again, that enhanced risk for that southern part of Louisiana. Again, it'll be more of a southern threat. That's be moving now towards the Big Bend area. And then look, we have that second big shot. This is going to be the main system here. Seeing another big threat, again, moving towards Tyler, Texas, Texarkana, moving towards Shreveport, and to Monroe, northern Louisiana. Again, this is where we saw the beginning of the severe weather on the Easter outbreak. We saw it developing right here, and then moving to Louisiana and then Arkansas. This is almost the exact start to both Easter and this. So this is showing a resemblance. And then, again, later Sunday, here we have these very strong bands, again, of course, in Alabama, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama. Again, very potential for seeing supercells, of course, developing here. There's a pretty good chance, which we'll be looking at later on, for the supercell threat. Again, really strong rain and extremely heavy and big, strong winds. And look at this right here. Really going straight over Atlanta. Again, I'm actually right here, so I can possibly get some really strong severe weather because I'm right here. I'm just below that pink, and that is not good whatsoever. Again, we're going to be seeing extremely bad bands moving straight over Atlanta. So again, we can still have a threat. We still have 3 days out. We can still see this SPC Outlook completely change locations. Again, it can possibly now move the enhanced risk, for example, now into northern Georgia or now more northern Alabama. There's a potential because look at this. And this is actually be more of a Monday. So I think Monday we'll have the severe weather threat now possibly moving upwards into northern Georgia and also out there into South Carolina. Again, very strong bands throughout Monday, continuing out here for the Carolinas, still out here into Alabama, Georgia. Again, the Carolinas, this is why we have a huge, long-lasting severe weather threat outbreak, and this is why we have millions out here already in the level 3, and if not level 2. We're going to be looking out here into the Cape values, and then we'll be looking at the supercell potential. So again, here we're looking at the GFS Cape values. Again, as you can tell, they aren't incredibly high. We're going to be needing some unbalanced amount of Cape. The Cape is the amount of energy in a store, or amount of energy in the atmosphere, or the amount of energy in a severe weather band that could create tornadoes and hail and also supercells. So again, the higher the joules per kilogram, the bigger the most amount of energy, the bigger the threat is. So again, here we have out here maximum really seeing up to 3,100 joules per kilogram out there in Louisiana, and then other areas where we have some lower to mid to high 2,000s out there joules per kilogram. As we now continue on by Sunday night, we're going to be seeing this joules per kilogram energy going up to possibly 3,150 joules per kilogram, that's going to be really scattered throughout much of Texas, climbing up to 3,300 joules per kilogram. That's going to be really on the lower side. Usually we see up to 5,000s, but again, really low amounts of extreme energy. Again, we didn't actually have that much energy as well with the Easter one, where we saw those very strong bands. We actually, I think we saw like a maximum of like 4,400 joules per kilogram, which of course is still bigger than this threat. So now we're gonna be looking at supercell potential here. So again, really the higher the bigger the number is for right here, that's a bigger threat for seeing supercells, which again develops large hail, big tornadoes. So here by later Sunday, again, we saw this yesterday. That's actually becoming a bit of a bigger threat here. Again, it's not really a tornado because this is not the tornado threat. But again, we're going to be seeing 7 to 8 for a chance for seeing some supercells, and then scattered in between 5 to 7s out there all the way into southern Alabama, much of Louisiana, eastern Texas, and then as we continue to see these bands move east, so will this threat for supercells scattered again. We're going to be scattered threats because these bands will now be like scattered all over the place, and there could be multiple like all over the states that could see supercell potential, which we saw on the radars. Again, it can be 7 up to a 12 out here in Louisiana, which is actually quite high actually, so really big threat for some supercells. 11s out here for southern Mississippi. Again, we saw that Macomb tornado would develop right where we see that huge risk, and then by Monday the risk will be more into Florida, but only at 3 or 4. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please do not forget to like and subscribe, and bye guys.